Yo, what's going on, guys? Kevin the Tech Ninja here, and this is the Galaxy S22 Ultra. This video, I'm not going to dive into specs too much as I covered that in previous videos. I'm going to tell you my true experience after using this as my daily phone. There has been several updates that came out that has changed a few things about the phone, and also there are a few annoyances that has not been resolved just yet. So of course we're going to talk about those in this video. The S22 and S22 Plus are hundreds cheaper than the Ultra, and I covered those phones too, so hit the playlist right under the subscribe button. Bar none, Samsung makes the prettiest phones around, and I think this phone is absolutely a stunner. It comes in different colors, but I think the color I have right here is the best looking one. It's aluminum all around, and Samsung says it's the strongest aluminum on any phone to date. I'm not going to drop it on purpose, but it did take a pretty nasty spill when I was at the aquarium with my family and it fell on concrete. It did scratch off the paint a little bit, but that's it. There's no dents or anything like that. So I would say in my real world example, it's pretty dang strong. So in the hand, this phone does have a slight curve to it, which makes it easier to hold, but I still will say it's a two-handed phone. And as a person who doesn't typically use larger phones, it does feel a little bit cumbersome at times. I know many people may not feel this way, and that's totally cool. So to use this phone with one hand, it takes an awkward hand shift to reach the top. And quite frankly, it becomes easy to drop. Now there's one-handed mode, which brings everything a little bit lower. That makes it easier to reach. But then you have a lot of unused space at the top of the phone, and to me, it just looks bad. So yeah, expect to use this phone with two hands pretty much at all times. Now I will give kudos to Samsung. It does make great use of the larger body with the display taking up nearly the whole front. I'd say Samsung is the best in business with displays because this phone looks great. Playing games like Rocket League Swipe and Xbox Game Pass, it's great. Watching videos on Amazon Prime, specifically with HDR, man, it is fantastic looking. This phone also gets pretty bright too, especially in direct sunlight. There's even a mode called extra brightness that gives you more brightness, so watching content anywhere you're at is possible. There's even an extra dim mode, so in darker situations like mindless scrolling in the middle of the night, the phone screen is much darker. It'll be hard to find a phone that has this much display technology baked into it, so yeah, very happy with that. There's now an S Pen built into the S22 Ultra. I talked about the S Pen in my first video, so check those out if you want to know more. Now, the experience is just like the Note, but Samsung said the response time is even faster. For me, I'm not a big S Pen user, so I can't speak too much to it. It's a unique feature for the right person. I just don't have a huge use for it. After a few days, I actually forget about it and I stop using it. But the one feature that is pretty cool when I remember to use it is the screen off memo. You know, it's as easy as popping the S Pen out and start writing on the screen. In recent years, Samsung has tweaked One UI so much now that it's my favorite skin on Android. It has a lot of settings that I like, but with so many options, getting lost in the menus would be inevitable. You can search for settings, which I end up doing anyways, but that is still kind of a problem, and I don't know how to solve that. Now, One UI has enough features that keeps me coming back to this phone over and over again. Now, one feature I really love is changing the theme and icon colors based on the wallpaper. That's just a little touch that makes this phone feel like your own. Although if you want to customize things further, it's Android. You can do that in various different ways, but Samsung provided enough to do it without adding more third-party apps. So look, I promise I won't spend the whole review on the camera, but honestly, if you look at this phone, look at this phone. You could tell that camera is a big focus. And speaking of which, I heard a stat that's interesting. 90% of photos taken are with smartphones. And 90% of you are not subscribed that are watching this video. So hit the bell button right now for that awesome segue, the way I brought that in. Come on, give me some love. On the back of the phone, there's a lot going on, as you can see, from the 108 megapixel wide, ultra wide, and telephoto, and the ability to space zoom 100x digitally. I wouldn't say this camera is groundbreaking, but better than the S21. And Samsung made a big push on portrait mode. It now scans the face, which in turn could keep everything in focus, even hair. In my experience, when the shot is nailed on portrait mode, I definitely see a difference. And with skin tones, they do look a lot better. I will say it does lighten the skin just a little bit, and it's not that real tone that you're getting with Pixel, but it's another step to getting better. And that's all you could ask for, I guess. Now, one thing I struggle with is getting the perfect shot of my toddler running around. And I'm sure some of you guys can relate. The shutter is just too slow for that. And that plagues many smartphones too. It's not a Samsung problem. Although portrait mode is a lot better, I want to give it to them. It's just frustratingly slow to take a picture with a fast moving object like a kid. And also when I go into portrait mode every single time, it starts off at 3x. Even if I was on 1x, I go out and come back in, it's back to 3x. So even then, it takes longer to get that shot. Now beyond portrait mode, the camera grabs excellent shots. Having all those zoom levels comes in clutch. It's impressive that such a small package can zoom so far. I still love the color profile these photos are taken outside. There's something about the blues, the sky, and the sun and clouds that Samsung does with its algorithm that makes these images pop. I mean, these pictures look really good. Let's talk about video. It is super impressive, and it goes toe to toe with anything out there. I found that some of the footage that I've took when I compare it to other phones, I would say that it captured the essence of the scene more so than other phones that I've used. Portrait video I find to be much more impressive than Apple's cinematic mode. I think it looks better, it sounds better. Maybe it doesn't have those flexible features like pulling focus after the fact, but overall it's much more usable and it's something that I really like using. There's also an all-new steady mode, which makes handheld shooting super simple to shoot. Even without it turned on, this phone is still steady, but it becomes unbelievably steady once you click it on. Now, more and more people are switching to a mobile setup for video, and this might be the ultimate creator phone because of the phone's flexibility with all the focal lenses and also how great the audio is. I don't think image quality is as good as Pixel. However, the flexibility and the video mode, it's hard to say that this isn't the most impressive camera package we have ever seen. Now moving on to performance, this phone has the next generation of processing power built in. Although today, I don't think we'd notice a difference in how we use our phones, but if you did plan to keep a phone for a few years, just know the processor tech won't be phased out so quickly. It is super fluid with the 120 Hz refresh rate on the display, and the amount of RAM packed into this machine makes the most power-hungry apps stay loaded in the background. And this includes pretty big games too. Now I've gamed a bunch on it and consistently I've had smooth FPSs with any sort of lag at all. No shutters, no nothing. The phone does get a bit hot when gaming for longer sessions, but it's not enough to raise my concerns or any sort of throttling that I ran into personally. With all that great power comes great responsibility. I mean battery. Not much has changed in the battery department. I'm comfortably getting over a day's worth, which is around 6 hours of screen on time. And I say from 7 a.m. to around 11 p.m., I'm at like 30 to 25%, which is good for me and the way I use my phone. This phone does support fast charging, but as we've been seeing for the last few years now, it doesn't come in the box. So you need to buy an extra charger. And if you want the fastest charging speeds, you need to grab a higher wattage charger, which could set you back like 30, 40 bucks, depending on which one you get. I don't like it, but it is what it is, man. Overall, Samsung once again hit a home run with this device. The S22 Ultra is the most premium looking and feeling phone around. If you have the S21 Ultra, should you upgrade? I don't think there's enough there. But if you're coming from anything else, then yes, this phone is totally worth the upgrade. The S22 and S22 Plus are also great phones, and maybe check out those videos too, linked down below, because maybe this is more phone than you absolutely need. Is it better than the iPhone? Well, I already addressed that before, so stick around for that card to pop up in just a few seconds here. Kevin the Tech Ninja, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.